Hello students, welcome. How are you? How have you done your exams? So now, based on the recall for the PSM session, we are having the MRB recall. It's going to be short and sweet. So I'm happy almost 6 to 7 out of the 10 questions came directly, mostly from our topics. 1 or 2 indirect extended versions. 1 or 2 maybe new because we did not expect this. So, but based on the concepts we have taught, you could have answered. So we'll go into the questions. But also some of the questions I will also explain why some questions the answer may not be suitable, why there was some problem in the question itself. I will explain. So first, prolonged exposure to wood dust is most associated with which type of cancer? See, wood dust, it is mainly associated with nasal cavity cancer. It's mainly associated with what cancer? Nasal cavity. So we had seen it in the page number 15. We have seen the page number 15, wood dust, nasal cavity cancer, nasal sinus, benzene leukemia, asbestos, pleural mesothelioma of the pleural layer. This we had seen so many times. So it is directly nasal cavity cancer. Next, wearing a helmet while riding a motorcycle is an example of what type of prevention? So in prevention, we already saw all types of prevention. See, primordial, no risk factor, preventing the development of the risk factor itself, primordial prevention. Primary risk factor is there. We are preventing the development of the disease. Like in India, we saw many examples I told in the class, like using condoms to prevent STD, wearing helmet to prevent road traffic accident caused head injuries, because we are always at the risk of the population which is not so much educated on the road traffic rules. So the best answer is primary prevention. So next, all prevent genetic defects except. So I think if this word except, if it is missing, then it is not a proper question. So you have to check the question. During the recalls, many told the word except was missing. See, always screening. So screening. It comes under what type of prevention? It comes under secondary prevention. So early diagnosis, what we told, early diagnosis and treatment. We are going to see for Down syndrome example, as I told in the class. So already the baby would have developed the Down syndrome disease. By taking from the amniotic fluid, we are going to do. So mainly prenatal screening, we are going to identify the babies having some disease. If needed, we can tell the mother to go for MTB within that particular day. So all prevent genetic disease except if the word was there, the answer would have been prenatal screening. But all others preventing the genetic disease before the disease occurs, but prenatal screening only for diagnosing the disease. So the same, page number 7 in our MRB one last push. So this was also a direct question. According to the multi-dose vial policy, an opal vial can be used for 28 days provided it meets all the requirements. See, you can see in the page number 9, you can see 28 days. 28 days is clear cut. It is there, clear cut. It can be used for 28 days provided all of the following conditions are met. Next, the effective lifespan of copper T388, it was also directly 10 years. So see, for all the copper lifespan of all copper Ts, copper T388 has the longest lifespan of around 10 years. See the others. So this was also direct. Next, a nosocomial infection here, the answer is 48 hours. 48 hours. This was also direct. Nosocomial infection, traditionally a time cut of 48 hours after admission is used. After the patient is admitted, if he develops some infection after 48 hours, then it is called as a hospital-acquired infection. If it develops less than 48 hours, it could have been an infection which could have been present before being admitted to the hospital. It could have been during the period of incubation. See, I also take the reference from the 28th edition of Park, page number 418, 28th edition of Park, the recent edition, definition of nosocomial infection occurring more than 48 hours after admission. More than 48 hours after admission. So Park, 28th edition, 418. Next, the factor which is associated both with the exposure and disease and it is distributed unequally It is a confounding factor. I don't think contributive factor. There is no term called contributive factor as far as I know. The serial time, generation interval, or the generation time or the serial interval, what we saw, they mainly come under infectious disease epidemiology or even the secondary attack rate. So these three are not or do not seem relevant. See, in the class we saw no serial interval, time between the onset of symptoms in primary and secondary case, generation time, time between exposure to the maximal infectivity of the host or infection of the primary case to the infection of the secondary case. So like this we saw mostly in infectious disease epidemiology. So we can rule out the answer is not contributory factor, it is confounding factor. Like in the study on role of alcohol in the causation of esophageal cancer, if the people are also they're having smoking, so we cannot tell whether smoking caused esophageal cancer or alcohol caused esophageal cancer. This third factor or the confusing factor, which is affecting the relationship between the exposure and outcome, and it is independently associated both with the exposure and outcome, is called as the confusing factor or the confounding factor. So I think that is the confounding factor, because why I tell this, if you go and see in the page number 60 or sorry, page number 80 of the 28th edition of the Park, you can see under matching, you can see exact line by line. A confounding factor is defined as one which is associated both with exposure and disease and is distributed unequally in study and control groups. So it seems like a line by line answer, but the answer was not like that confusing here or contributory. It is a confounding factor. So I think the answer would have been confounding factor. So wrong statement regarding RD and EAR, we did not discuss directly, but we talked about this normal distribution curve. So normal is what? Mean plus or minus 2 standard deviation is normal. This is the concept we use for RDA. So the nutrients we need is, we have to take the nutrients sufficiently, that is enough to meet the requirement of 95% of people. So that will be balance 2.5%, balance 2.5%. So this is minus 2 standard deviation plus 2 standard deviation. So if someone is taking 10 grams, it is enough for these people who are also below the minus 2 standard deviation. So only it fulfills the 97.5% of the people. So although it is mean plus or minus 2 standard deviation, it fulfills the 97.5% of the pupil. So RDA, EAR. So next is EAR is estimated average requirement. So EAR means it fulfills the requirement of 50% of people. For RDA we use for vitamins and minerals. The term EAR we use it only for energy. What is the daily energy requirement of a sedentary man, moderate working man, heavy working man? So at times we use the word EAR. So for this, RDA is 1.2 times the EAR is approximately correct. So RDA at particular RDA intake level, it would cause a harmful nutrient deficiency in just 2.5%. Yes, it could be overtaken only in just 2.5%. EAR would meet the dietary requirement of half. It is also correct. So this seems to be the wrong option. So RDA is equal to, it will be greater than EAR, that is mean plus or minus 2 standard deviation. So if it has been plus, we could have considered this, but the option was only minus was there. So I feel the option B was the only thing which is wrong here. Toxicity of organic lead. See, lead, the toxicity can be organic or inorganic. So organic means it can cause the blood-brain barrier. So cross the blood-brain barrier, coma, confusion. Inorganic means mainly symptoms like affecting of the nerves, or like abdominal pain, colic pain, anemia, or affecting maybe the kidneys. So here everything will come. The classical blue line which we saw in the class, it also comes under inorganic. So blue line, abdominal colic, food drop, all of this we saw in the class. So the only thing we did not see is CNS symptoms because it comes under organic lead. So this was also we studied in our MRB recall. Mees line only comes in arsenic poisoning, all other comes in lead poisoning. So we studied about the lead poisoning, the Burtonian line. We studied about the Mees line. Although we did not tell specifically about organic lead, all other things we generally discussed. So which disease is called Hunter-Decoff? It is an easy question. Pertussis. So pertussis maybe not present word to word in the one push, but during the class I have told. So pertussis, 100 cough, I have told you in the class. India was declared polio free. So we talked about eradication. Polio has been eradicated, but we did not tell about the year because I did not expect the year and all would come. But the answer is 2014, if you see. So I did not tell about this in the class. I told only polio is eradicated. See, the last wild polio case in India was January 2011. After that, for 3 years, we did not have any polio case. So the criteria to tell free is more than 3 years, no case. So 2011 plus 3, it becomes 2014. So 2014 is India polio free. You can see in the Part 28th edition, page number 244. So page number 244, Part 28th edition, you can see India has been polio free since 27th March 2014. So recently also the released India has been, it has been more than 1 decade where India has been polio free. So Weil's disease, leptospira. This is a simple question. Leptospira, Weil's disease, like rat. During the class, I told a rat urine. In the urine, we have the leptospira. While discussing about this leptospirosis, I would have told about this in the class about the Weil's disease. So recommended fluoride level. So this question we did not discuss in the class. This was also not present, like because the fluoride content defluoridation Nalgonda technique I told you in the class, but I did not tell what is the accepted level. I just told less than 1.5 mg per liter. So less than 1.5 mg liter, it is okay. So WHO correctly tells around 0.5 to 0.8. Most books they tell 0.5 to 0.8. So most books tell 0.5 to 0.8. WHO tells like less than 1.5 mg, it is okay. If it goes more than 1.5 mg per liter, you have to do defluorid. Okay, students, thank you. Hope you have done well. Okay, almost except for 2 or 3, almost all things we got it from our book or from the related content. Thank you.